So my dad, John, was always very supportive of people pursuing their dreams and exploring their skills and opportunities. And he wasn't an artist himself, and he struggled with contemporary art a lot of the time, but he was very supportive of my practice, and he would always come to my exhibitions. And I think that's really what this prize is all about, his sense of supporting people to follow their dreams and to explore your ideas and your opportunities, and to give an artist some financial support so that they can continue to pursue their practice and follow their dreams in that sense.
Hi, my name is Sebastian Goldspink, and I'm the 2013 guest curator for the John Fries Memorial Prize. The prize is in its 4th year, and it's being held here at Gaffa Galleries in Sydney. The prize is open to artists from across Australia and New Zealand, and it's sponsored by VizCopy and the Copyright Agency. And it was an amazing kind of year. We had, I think, over 600 applicants, and those guys were sort of shortlisted down to a list of 22 final artists that are here in the exhibition. And it was an incredible process going through the applications, because you know, you see a lot of diversity, like a diversity of kind of mediums and subject matter and kind of places and where people come from. But then you also see a lot of commonality in experience, and that's a really kind of exciting thing. I guess the kind of big themes that emerged was a sort of investigation into place was very strong. An investigation into new technology, or the way that people interact with technology. And then a really kind of humorous, but in some ways kind of bittersweet kind of theme that came through the applications, which was really kind of looking at anxiety and sort of personal anxiety. So a lot of very kind of sort of self-portrait-y kind of works that looked at artists' anxiety. And in the catalogue essay that I wrote for the prize, I really focused on one common thing, which is the experience of being an emerging artist in Australia. And I guess how sort of tough that is, and why it's important that we support emerging artists. And it's been really interesting sort of meeting the artists and going through the different kind of works and looking at, you know, sort of key themes that kind of unite artists that could live on different sides of the country or in completely different kind of locations, like remote rural locations, and then really kind of inner city locations. So it's been a fantastic and kind of interesting process.
So this work was a commissioned by Campbelltown's Art Centre, and the collaboration with Hayley Forward and the Sydney Chamber Choir. So we were interested in exploring what it means to be a visitor in a different place. So Campbelltown is not where any of us were from, and so we were interested in this idea of the visitor. And we were also interested in that in regards to sport. So art versus sport is something that is often sort of bandied around, and we were interested in the warming up that happens for both arts and sports. And so we were interested in asking the choir to perform vocal warm-ups in this small sporting field.
It's great to see the works in the space. When we went from the long list to the short list, everything was digital, and seeing the works in the flesh really changes your impression of them, really brings them to life, obviously. It was a really, really tough call for us to actually get to a few. There were 3 works in the end that we really spent a lot of time nutting over and you know, contemplating. I think a lot of works have a lot of psychological intensity that is great to see. You know, there was sort of, I definitely lingered over a few key works for quite a long time. Really compelling pieces. There's a lot of humour in the show, actually. It's quite a lot of cheeky works, very clever. Yeah, so I think the humour would be the theme that runs through it, but a generous kind of humour, not a cynical humour. It's actually more of a playfulness, I suppose, a cheeky playfulness.
This is a really important prize because it's generous. It's a $10,000 prize. It's also relatively high profile. This year it's at Gaffa Gallery, which is really central. Everyone can come. The work is beautifully hung, and I think, you know, it'll get really good response from the public as well as from the art world. I think for the artists, it really helps establish their profile. There are artists in this show that I hadn't heard of before, and I do keep an eye out for emerging artists, so that was a real revelation. And also the value of the prize is very important. You can do a lot with 10 grand when you're an emerging artist.